Not all bread is created equal. And if you like yours soft, fluffy, moist, and delicious, then Hero Bread and Buns should be your first choice. But Hero Bread isn't just about taste and texture. It's high in fiber with ultra-low net carbs with 0 grams of sugar. Order today at hero.co and use the code AH10 to get 10% off your first purchase. That's AH10 at hero.co, HERO.co for 10% off your first purchase.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
Hi, this is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this emergency edition of One Nation Radio. I'm joined with Rich Latta. We are here because it was just announced about an hour and a half ago, or an hour, something like that, that Kazuchika Okada is giving notice to New Japan Pro Wrestling and will not renew his contract when it ends on January 31st. Rich, where do you want to go from here? Because it's a lot, and a lot of speculation will be involved, and also, like, it's the end of an era. Like, this is the period on the sentence of the book.
There's like 3 or 4 conversations to have here rather than we're just shocked. So I'll start there. I'm fucking shocked. And I can't believe that it finally happened. And when I say finally happened, we've all heard for years someone wants Okada, whatever. You just never think that's going to happen. This is the biggest loss, not death related, in the history of Japanese wrestling. I can't believe that New Japan Pro Wrestling found a way to lose Kazuchika Okada. And when I was on the show, when we did that last segment, I said New Japan would find the money to give this guy, or wherever he's going, we're going to find out pretty much there's chaos going on, no pun intended, with Okada, like backstage. You look at this last year, he was IWGP champion until about May. Naito beats him in the G1 finals. He puts over no one after that and leaves. This is a failure from the office standpoint. This is a failure from the booking standpoint. This is catastrophic. This is like, I feel like New Japan's headed for the dark ages after this. And, you know, luckily there's no one trying to do MMA against like Yuji Nagata in the main event or something like that. Luckily, Bob Sapp isn't coming in to destroy the IWGP champion. Luckily, Josh Barnett will not be destroying the IWGP champion. However, this is a complete cause to hit the red button in New Japan Pro Wrestling this completely needs to be turned over to the next generation of stars. His contract expires January 31st. I did not read if he was making those new beginning dates that I don't even know if he was advertised for or not.
But new beginning historically is like in early February anyway. So you know, it's like you know how they normally set it up, where it's like it's either 2 or 3 or 4 shows that are like the big shows.
Okada is going to be at New Beginning, I'm hearing. So okay. So, this is devastating, man. Like, this is absolutely devastating, and part of me feels like, damn, the pro wrestling business has changed forever today, and it's never going to be the same. And we are witnessing tragedy, quite frankly, in New Japan. And then, and I'm very sad about this, because it's like the foreigners come and go, you know, in Japanese wrestling. However, Okada left. And when we watch the Dome next year, if it's in the Dome, Kazuchika Okada's not going to be factored in. When we watch the G1 this year, Kazuchika Okada's not going to be in it. When we watch the rest of the IWGP Championship, he's done holding it. This is like, I was trying to put it into words to explain to my wife exactly what this meant. And it was like, Hiroshi Tanahashi is responsible for a lot of us watching New Japan Pro Wrestling. And then after that is Kazuchika Okada. And it's tough to even put into words, because there's not a ton of information out there. We're going on raw kind of feelings and emotions right now. And this is more shocking than CM Punk quitting WWE to me in 2014.
Yeah. Like, people knew that there was, animosity bubbling up at times between like CM Punk and the office at WWE. Like, it was in this fucking DVD with Punk. Okada, up until just recently, with the change of the president from Obari to Tanahashi, you really didn't hear anything about, that kind of stuff. Obviously, it's more, they're better at keeping business in-house in Japan than American promotions. But yeah, I just we did these 2 segments about Okada potentially being done with New Japan, and like, we did them, but I did them with, in my mind, thinking like, nah, it's fun to entertain, and worst case scenario, it's going to be a split venture, right, between AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he'll be able to stay in his home base, home promotion, and where he's the ace of, and do some dates with people that he wants to do dates with, and have cool matches when he's in America, because he wants to come over here. And this seems like it's over. Like, if this were an American wrestler, we would think, okay, well, he's just entering free agency, and he's gonna play companies against each other, promotions against each other to get the highest bid. That has historically, in the One Nation Radio era of New Japan Pro Wrestling, it has not been how that works out when someone reaches free agency and enter a contract in New Japan Pro Wrestling. They just leave. So I am. I think he's really gone. And I can't imagine what this show in this run would have been like without him in New Japan Pro Wrestling having some of the greatest matches of all time. Too many to even count. And him in a different promotion is going to be different. And I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how the adjustment to, if he comes over here to American television is going to be, whether it's AEW or WWE. I don't know. I have a better idea in AEW because we've already seen proof of concept with him being in AEW before. But yeah, it's going to be different. And it's, for me, it's like, you know, we started watching New Japan Pro Wrestling on Wrestle Kingdom 9, and like Tanahashi's the president now. He's a TV champion. Kota Ibushi is a shell of himself, wrestling too injured to even be allowed to wrestle and still doing it anyway. In Noah, in AEW. Tetsuya Naito is on his last legs as a, you know, main eventer, seemingly. Shibata is an AEW Ring of Honor wrestler. Shinsuke Nakamura is in WWE. And it's been there for almost a decade now at this point.
He's been retired for years.
AJ Styles, not there no more. Yeah, it's
Kenny Omega gone.
Kenny Omega gone. Will Ospreay now gone.
Gone.
Yeah.
White gone.
Jay White gone. And I'm looking around at the heavyweight division, singles heavyweight division for New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I'm just looking around at people that are established stars already. And the cupboard, star power wise, the cupboard looks bare. You got Tetsuya Naito and Tanahashi,
Shingo Takagi,
and Shingo Takagi,
who's getting louder about his desire to work in America.
All right, and then you're just looking around. It's like
Tomohiro Ishii. Is it time? Can we not deny him anymore? You know. But
it's
yeah, man.
It's just a really weird situation to think that like this is over, and it was always going to change and be different after what we, you know, from even 5 years ago, right? But because obviously AEW exists, but to see like seemingly everybody but Naito has jumped ship to Tony Khan's Pro Wrestling, and obviously I understand it's like the travel's not as hard if you make the move, right? There's less dates. You're not having to go from town to town on the bus, and you don't have to get on and do all the road to shows and work that hard of a schedule if you don't want to, right? Like, what do you imagine an ideal AEW schedule will be as far as yearly like matches for Okada? What would it be? Would it even be 35 matches?
I would say like 25 max.
Right. And you think it's like, all right, kind of the classic is this, right? That's the G1 for AEW. That's wrestling one of those kind of matches once a week as opposed to when he was doing the G1 every year and he had to do that twice a week. So I understand it. I get it. But I just wasn't prepared. And I'm just in shock still.
I think there's something to still be said about his run in New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he was at currently. Yeah. They had nudged him into that Tanahashi position to where he was wrestling the international imports, like the way Tanahashi was wrestling Jericho. And, you know, they were, we know where it was going with Okada. Like, what I'm going to say now, I think is going to be unpopular, right? But if I was Kazuchika Okada, there are a few destinies that await you in New Japan Pro Wrestling should you stick around. One, you stay and you kind of just hang around wrestling these, you know, international imports and being like kind of like this ambassador in a sense, and then wrestling all these guys and eventually putting them all over. Mm-hmm. It was fulfilling for Hiroshi Tanahashi. Maybe Kazuchika Okada's built different. Mm-hmm. Or you just like all those miles finally catch up to you like they're catching up to
everyone
Kota
else.
Ibushi and everyone else of the era. He's 36 years old now, I think, or 35.
Something like that.
And he just kind of, breaks down, becomes a tag wrestler, becomes a dad, all that. When Shinsuke Nakamura jumped, I think he was roughly the same age. And I don't have a good grip on exactly where Okada's going to land right now. So that's why a lot of it is like, man, have I watched Kazuchika Okada's last match that is ever going to mean something to me? Have I watched, him at the Wrestle Kingdom, obviously at the Dome? We just watched his last Dome match, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels so. There's so much unrest now. Tony Khan is sending out.
Yeah.
My name is my name.
He's been sending out stuff like cryptic stuff, even as much as 5 hours ago, before the bombshell dropped from the New Japan Twitter accounts.
Yeah, and but I got part of me thinks like WWE has been on the losing end of so many of these in the last year and a half. I could easily see Okada being the one, like Nick Khan is like, under no circumstances are we losing this one. Easily.
Do you think that fits with like their structure right now with TKO and them being uninterested, like with what's going on with the stock?
I mean, they brought in Punk, so like once they did that, I imagine that wasn't
Punk is
cheap.
a bigger draw domestically than Okada ever will be.
True. But
and he brings back lapsed fans that like didn't follow him to AEW that will follow him to WWE because Outlaw Mud Show talk and all that kind of stuff.
I think WWE Triple H loves Okada, we know that, and WWE wants a chance to
win
under this regime. They want a chance to win. They want a chance to take something from AEW. They want a chance to show they can push a Japanese wrestler correctly. And Nakamura is like way older than him. They failed. I would think Triple H sees that as Vince's failure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
I mean, we saw Nakamura NXT in main roster main roster Nakamura, two different things.
To think about it from that perspective, like you could easily see Triple H will like, absolutely not. Under no circumstance will we allow him to get away. If you're Tony Khan, obviously you got to make a call. Now I want to go into. I saw some haters on the timeline, some real hate and shit. Like, I saw some folks that would just rather him go to WWE, and be done with it. I saw some folks that were just in disbelief that Okada would do such a thing. And it was just like, how much of a hater are you? Like,
if you are a lifelong Tetsuya Naito fan,
you won, didn't you?
It's good riddance.
You finally got rid of Kazuchika Okada, right?
It's not only that.
He can have the company. It's all his. Rejoice. Have fun. You won the battle. You got rid of Kazuchika Okada forever. He's not coming back.
Rich, it's fandom, it's sports, it's a rivalry, and it's like not only do I want to win, I also want to like recoup what I lost all these years when I was getting my brains beat in. Right? Look, like, don't get me wrong, like, look, I'm a Florida State football fan here. Florida State lost to Miami 5 times in 4 seasons. Look, man, I hope they never win a game. If they were to look, one of my dreams out of this whole ACC Florida State thing is for Florida State to leave, which starts the domino effect of North Carolina leaves, Clemson leaves, and then like everyone looks around and is like, oh, Miami's not actually serious. The only thing they have is the recruiting pool and like money that they don't actually spend on the football program. So let's leave them out of the Big Two, of the eventual Big Two. I would love nothing more for Florida State to initiate and press the button that inevitably leads to Miami being a fucking group of 5 or whatever you call them. I would love for us to murder them. Same way when I talk about like Duke basketball, when like Carolina if they leave, like what that means for Duke basketball and some of these other ACC teams, where it's like that basketball program ain't gonna keep you relevant. I would love nothing more. So yeah, like I get it, I understand it. It's obviously, I think some of that is in jest. Obviously, I don't actually think that like the pro wrestling business would be better if Kazuchika Okada, as far as from hardcore fan sensibilities, for him to be in WWE. Like, granted, like he comes in and walks
the fuck out of here, man. Like that's
he comes in. I will say this: Okada comes in and he's immediately like the greatest in-ring performer in WWE style ever, right? Right. But at the same time, it's just the matches that, or the matchups that are there, are not nearly as intriguing because things get lost in the wash. People don't plan out that consistently. He can easily get lost in the shuffle, and also unless he has some a faction around him or some type of connective tissue that gives him roots in the in WWE, I have a hard time thinking that their fan base is going to gravitate to him in a way that like we do, because we've seen him be arguably the greatest wrestler of all time through age 36. So yeah, it's going to be it's nasty all the way around. But like I just think a clear pass is easily AEW. And if your person is like a huge New Japan Pro Wrestling fan and it's been like in this relationship with AEW, and you constantly seeing them take, legitimately or otherwise, which is like, I'm not going to pretend I'm a person, me and you, Rich, actually like acknowledge that like these people have their own agency to make decisions on their own. They're not children that are being manipulated by malevolent forces, right?
Like, this man has given notice. He has not decided to get in some shit and cause like a situation to where he could not return to New Japan Pro Wrestling,
right?
To force someone's hand.
He didn't cut a podcast with his friend.
Look,
right.
But this guy reached free agency. He's honored New Japan Pro Wrestling for over a decade.
Rich,
he can make whatever decision he wants, right? He goes to WWE. Yes. I'll fucking hate it. I'll say it, like, I don't want to watch Seth Rollins try to struggle his way through a cosplay Tanahashi Okada match, a cosplay Okada Omega match. I don't.
That's the real cosplay. It would be Okada Omega. Remember that New Japan.
He rips them both off.
He pulled out.
Yeah.
Like this is the greatest match of all time. Yeah, cool. 4.5. Cool, bro. Yeah. 4.5.
Like that man goes to WWE. I would hate that, obviously, but like, I just didn't want him to leave New Japan personally.
Same.
Like, and it's hard to even say like, I at this point, I feel like I got to root for I got to root for AEW to make that call and back up that truck, or else.
Right.
I feel like Kazuchika Okada his wrestling mortality is flashing right in front of us right now.
Yeah, kind of, because it's like it seems to be that there are four.
Look, and if you don't see it that way, like as far as like you're so spiteful towards AEW and Tony Khan and everything like that, then like, all right, have at it. Like, look, zap one of the great wrestlers of all time just off the fucking grid, like just completely erase him, like fucking KGB him, fucking pull out the Men in Black flashy thing, like, and just pretend he's gone. Like, I'm sorry, I don't wish that for Kazuchika Okada, because as much as people will want to say the evil AEW, it's like they still like let people go places. There's still an element of like, yeah, man, like, you might see a big match somewhere. You might still see crossover stuff. It's not just this locked away ecosystem that no one is going to touch anymore.
But Rich, like, they let Mickey James do the Royal Rumble that one time and like did nothing else with TNA ever. And Rich, they let Nakamura have a match in Noah on last year, and then like did nothing with him ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, man, it's just I mean, I guess now you take the thing. Well, they are working with sending Regal's son over to All Japan. I guess that's the exchange. Yeah, man, it's just if he does sign with WWE, now I'm thinking about it. Rule of spinning. Like, does this now like start back up the corporate, or what do you call it, the global localization initiative that Triple H is doing? When this is how we start off with NXT Japan. We sign him to WWE, and then we say, "Hey, take your ass right back."
I think that would definitely be on the table,
because that seems like it makes more sense to me than having Okada act with his famous wife that's more famous than him. Actually, like it's one thing when you Tom Brady and you married to Giselle, right? And like she lets you play your little football games, but your ass still in the same country. It's another thing when like he's like, if Tom Brady's trying to take his ass to NFL Europe. I know NFL Europe don't exist no more. We get my point. It's like, nah, man, he's taking it too far. And even Giselle said, enough. You want to go back to this narcotic? All right, let's get divorced. I'm done. Enough.
I just think I find it hard to think Okada would work a full WWE schedule just because of the travel without moving over.
Right.
We're still in the dark on so many of these details. It's like, all right, every signal that
they gonna let him get that Randy Orton Roman Reigns deal.
Every signal that it was that is a smoke signal kind of was like, yeah, Okada's with Barry Bloom. That usually means one thing,
right?
But if I had to make a prediction right now, I think he's going to go to WWE. Like, that's where I'm at with it right now.
Okay,
and it's sad to come to that realization. But I was talking with a buddy of mine earlier, and he just was telling me, wrestling goes on, wrestling will be fine. I thought this would be the worst thing for wrestling if that was the case, right? But it will go on. It will be different. On this show, we always talk about cherishing the times that you're in, appreciating stuff while it's happening, evaluating in real time as such, and not being afraid to call something great while it's happening, or else like days like this. I believe that rant was inspired by the 2022 G1 finals with Okada and Ospreay, ironically, who are gone now. Or else you're looking back on that, not appreciating it for what it was. But we did on One Nation Radio, we told you on real time what the fuck that was.
Yeah.
And now it's like it's a whole new day now. And if you are a young wrestler in New Japan, all the opportunity is there. Tsuji, Shota Umino, Ren Narita, Yuya Uemura. You're not Kazuchika Okada, but hell, like there's a wide open spot right there for you to be the best you can be. I believe in Shota Umino. I believe in Tsuji.
Yeah.
I just struggle with like who's gonna put these guys over. And now
it's gonna have to be themselves.
Now it's like fuck, who's gonna put them over? That's a major Here's
another question. What happens to Chaos? Does that live on forever? Is this Bishamon and Ishii?
Ishii's the leader now, But it's like, who's gonna put these guys over? And then it's like, why were they operating like Okada was going to be there forever? Did they take him for granted, do you think?
I think, look, it could be, high mileage, right? This could be a combination of it, but like there's high mileage, there's more opportunity that I've done the challenge of wanting to do US TV. I've done everything I can do. The yen is down, right? And like I'm forcing my hand to try to get the most amount of money I possibly can. Because I don't necessarily, I may or may not actually believe New Japan Pro Wrestling is the most they can pay me, and it might be a situation where like, hey, I get this offer, and can you match this plus one? Who knows?
Bushi Road, what's going on? Keiji Muto, don't you try to sneak back through that door. You hear me? Muto? Stay your ass where you at. Do not come around there saying, hey, it looks like y'all can use a draw. Stay away, KG Muto. You hear me? Goddammit.
So, like, I don't. One thing I also thinking about this now is like, all right, so, like, how did they keep this? If he's gone, how did they keep this afloat? Besides just we got to push the young guys that we pretty much all earmarked for being the next generation. Those 4 guys. Like, it has to be more than this. Like, do they need to, like, you know, is it a time where, like, it's so dire, it's like, hey, you know, y'all are never going to y'all never going to move Hiromu out of cruiserweight. Too late, too bad now.
He needs to be elevated.
He needs to be like the IWGP champion in the next 2 years. If you know,
shit, less than that. We ain't got time to wait more. We ain't got time to wait 1, 2, 3, or 2 and more years ahead. We don't have time.
The pandemic stopped that. The pandemic stopped that anniversary match between Naito and Hiromu that we never got. So that's a match that could absolutely main event the Dome.
That's what I would do.
That's what I would do too. Because we could do Evil, Sonata.
Yeah. There's a bad feeling around a lot of this stuff for me. And
Rich, I got no.
You know, when you're talking about like Bushi Road in New Japan and Gato, and it's like this office and, you know, the reshuffling, and it's like, what's going on that we don't know? Fumi Saito, I need you to pick up a phone. Fumi Saito, I need you to hit the bricks. You know, I need you to hit the pavement. I need you to holla at Gato and then holla at Dave so we can figure the fuck what's going on here, man. I just will appreciate the run that Kazuchika Okada gave us. Okada and Omega, that series, like, redefined this era of wrestling fandom. I think Okada and Tanahashi, you know, Okada and Naito, and there's a lot of people that didn't love Okada for a lot of years. Well, I got one question for him, James. How about it now?
Yep. Yeah, it's just it just seems wrong. Like, obviously nobody did anything wrong, but it just feels wrong to, like, this, like, you know, I made the joke, you know, with, like, in group chats, to Keep It Strong Style guys, like, hey, like, Okada bounced, like, what the fuck y'all gonna do with y'all logo? And I think I made the joke on the show, the last show we did, and it's like, now it's like, I was saying that shit just to troll. I didn't think it was actually gonna fucking happen. Now I feel like an asshole. I feel like a jerk. Yeah.
It's gonna be a sad podcast.
And you know, another thing to think about is, like, if they continue this partnership with AEW, like, what are the attractive matches that are left for, like, Forbidden Door that we're going to draw that particular fan in? Because, like, is Naito and Shingo and Hiromu and what else?
Like Ishii and...
But they see Ishii, like, 3 times a year in AEW already.
Yeah. You know, there's David Finlay. You know, there's Evil. There's Sonata. All these people that people told me was gonna hold it, POP, hold it down for Shinny Hon, who, you know, the domestic fans love so much that we don't understand. Okay. How about it now? Shota Umino is going to be one for sure, but
it's going to have to be the young guys. It's going to have to be the Musketeers.
And it's going to take time. It's going to take time with those guys. Right. Like, we didn't just fall in love with Okada and Tanahashi off the first time we saw them, the second time we saw them. Like, we knew they were great, you know, but we had to take the journey with them. And like, these new guys, they got to take the journey with them.
There are no show buckles for those guys yet.
Correct. There are no show buckles. And then, like, there's no Tanahashi on top.
Right.
There's no Okada on top.
Right.
AJ Styles is not there right now. Kenny Omega's not there now.
No, right. No Shibata, no Ibushi either. No Nakamura.
What you do have is Dick Togo. Do you think people are going to want to not watch AEW and WWE to watch Sonata?
What match, that Jack Perry and Sonata IWGP title match, like what match was that, like the third or fourth match on Forbidden Door?
That shit was like the fourth match on the show.
Yeah. Like, I don't want him in AEW because like I want the alternative where he's in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but like if he's in AEW, like there's Hangman matches, there's Takeshita matches, like there's so many things for him to do and more interesting things than like what it seems he has left for him in New Japan. But as far as like already built stars for him to wrestle, but like there is intrigue in like the unknown of like, hey, what could Shota in Okada be? What could Tsuji and him be? What could him in Yamura be? Right? So
I guess,
and I was looking forward to that. And we talked about that at the end of the show when we were doing the Battle of the Valley review a few days ago, where it's like the next 2 years need to be Naito and Okada basically bringing all of them up, and now it's up to Naito and Goto and Ishii, seemingly.
God bless them.
And Shingo, if Shingo wants to do this.
Man, there are parts of me that are angry at this, that are obviously shooting the vitriol out. But
wait, vitriol, you mean?
Yeah, the vitriol. You know,
vitriol. Like, that sounds like something you take for
vitiligo. You know, right? Shooting the vitiligo out. You know.
Like one of them commercials that you see like during a daytime soap, and we have all them damn side effects that motherfuckers riding like in the having picnics or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Triple H wants him bad. We all know this. And man, it feels like he's going to get him. But
Brookhaven. I specifically left out Okada
versus
MJF. I ain't trying to see that.
Yeah, and ain't nobody trying to see Okada and MJF. Real honestly, money versus that.
Honestly, definitely.
I'll drop money on your head, Swerve, literally. Yeah. I think this is tough, man. This is tough to kind of process, man, because you know, we talked about how they use Japanese wrestlers in WWE. We talked about, you know, we know it's a different era, different regime, blah, blah, blah. He would be a star. I think he would get every opportunity. They would make every concession possible to ensure. But what they would also do is revert to their natural instincts, I believe, too. So it would be tough, man. You know, the Okada Tozawa tag team. A fun team to imagine, but not pushed like that. Come on, man. We
that
know
seems like some men's version of like Jumping Bomb Angels, where it's like they were great together as a tag team, but it's like, yeah. So where were they? Like, were they motivating anything? Were they doing anything important in the eyes in the company in the eyes of the company's history? Not really.
Yeah, like I don't think the ceiling is particularly high in WWE for him.
It's not high floor, low ceiling.
And if he has to be like, a heel, oh my god! Rich. Will Okada have to spit mist?
No, but I was gonna say to you, like, Rich, I've seen people already like running have him take the belt off Gunther at WrestleMania. So you bring in Kazuchika Okada, quite possibly the greatest pro wrestler to ever exist, to put the IC title on him. Fuck you and fuck everything you stand for and fuck everything you love.
We had a buddy of ours. We had a buddy of ours who I don't even know if he was serious. He was saying, will he be able to be in the Royal Rumble? It's like that fucking matters. Like,
well, also no, because it's the dates overlap.
His contract. Yeah.
And
then I had another.
Bring him into the Rumble so you can throw him out after 15 minutes.
Yeah, he's starting to be the night after WrestleMania. I'm like, bro, you don't sign Kazuchika Okada to hold him off to the night after WrestleMania. No. But yeah. As far as New Japan Pro Wrestling goes, it is a dark, dark day. Not just for New Japan, the country at large.
I mean, it's already making real news rounds over there.
This is the worst thing to happen. I ain't even gonna do it.
No, stop.
Y'all know where I was going.
Stop. Jesus.
Y'all know where I was going.
What's wrong with you, man?
Y'all know where I was going.
It is not. It is not that serious.
Oh man. Yeah, man. This is bad, man. Chat blowing up. See, y'all know me well.
I see what you did there, chat blowing up. You're an asshole.
You know. But yeah.
What else you got? We need to wrap this up. You are in the danger zone that Macho Man was talking about.
Bro, this fucking sucks, bro. Like, this absolutely sucks. And it's like, yeah, man. It's a bad day. And you know, I don't know where they go from here. There's the next Kazuchika Okada's not walking through that door.
Kind of hard to imagine.
Like, are we talking about like the landscape in Japanese wrestling? Because there's going to be a vacuum here, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to have to get pushed into those spots somewhere.
Right.
Kazuchika Nakajima's floating around in All Japan right now, but we don't know how solid that is right now.
And also, you know, he's done G1s before, or a G1 at least before. Yeah.
It would not shock me to see New Japan get active in trying to bring in talent to compensate, because like just how it looks on paper right now, what's about to happen? They're about to lose Will Ospreay. They're about to lose Kazuchika Okada. Bro, you got to kick the tires on a Nakajima. You got to call Noah and be like, yo, Kaito Kiyomiya, what's up with him? Even though y'all have fucking murdered him to death, like y'all booked him into oblivion last year.
Rich.
And you might want to consider firing Gato.
Might. Rich.
He's got to go.
I thought, Rich.
At this point, he's got to go.
I drafted him in FOH at the end of the year this year, or at the end of the year last year, because of like the booking was so like there were directions that made sense for them to have to go based off where they were going, and then they didn't do it by dragging their feet all year with those guys in the A block against Sonata, getting whooping all their asses. Didn't really go forward with like trying to make the Kiyomiya thing interesting outside of the tag match until the match ended, where Okada just beats the shit out of him, and then it was like, all right, well, what now? What? And then they didn't utilize like the end of Jay White when they put the belt on him just to lose it and then leave. They didn't like utilize like the end of Ospreay either, and then like. These fucking IWGP women's titles and strong titles are fucking up another promotion, right? Like it's because like the company is saying, hey, we want to do this, and the booker says, no, I don't want to do it. He doesn't want to listen to his bosses, and he hasn't been fired. We're just like, okay, hey man,
look, you see, the Patriots just got rid of Bill Belichick.
Hey man, you can't be. Look, Gato has booked some of the greatest things in the history of pro wrestling, but
if everyone clean it out the era, clean it all the way out, turn it over. You know, and this is sad. We talked about all the guys that left, and with Okada jumping, it's over, man. We watched the greatest period for match quality in pro wrestling ever. I'll hear out your All Japan in the 90s. I'll hear it out, you know. But after those four, what we talking about? Those G1s in the mid-2010s? Those fucking Dominions? Those Wrestle Kingdoms? Not only
those Sakura Genesis.
Revitalized those Sakura Genesises, not only
Genesis, the Sakura Genesis.
Not only revitalized New Japan Pro Wrestling, it created companies in America.
Yeah,
simple as that. There's no. It's over, man. I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna cherish it. I'm gonna uphold it as such. And man, we've got a lot of great tape to look back on.
Yeah, we do.
Because regardless of where he goes to AEW, it's still gonna be different.
It's still not the same. It's still over.
Not the
it's
same.
Still over for this.
He's older.
This was a special house that incredible things happened in, and it seems like at least for the immediate future, like the lights are a lot dimmer in the building. Yeah,
man. I think that's a good place to wrap up the show, and we will be back Monday night, or I don't know about Monday. We'll look into it because isn't that like national title game or something like that? Or
no,
that already happened.
You mean playoffs?
Yeah.
I mean, if there are playoff games, let's put it on and we'll do the show then. We will
figure it out.
I'm pretty sure it'll be Monday.
Clap for your boys. Make sure you subscribe on the YouTube and all that. We're putting pressure on them this year.
So I don't know what the clip is on this, or if we just put the whole thing up.
Whole thing, baby.
Yeah,
whole thing, baby.
Yeah. Wow. Oh man.
Kazuchika Okada, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Wow. Wherever he goes, we'll probably get better T-shirts. Anyway, thanks for listening, y'all. That's the end of the show. Be sure to rate whatever app you use to listen to this with. If you want to donate to, you watch from the stream, you want to donate, be sure to go to our podcast and go to the show notes and go click on the Wrestle link and you can donate there. And be sure to listen to other shows on the network besides One Nation Radio. You got Keepin It Strong Style, All Things Elite, Imps WWE Adventure, wrestling things with Chris, Trish and Sarah, wrestling podcast, and Tunnel Talk. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Tetsuya Naito. It's all yours, baby. Tranquilo.
Be a barbecue hero with delicious, ultra-low net-carb Hero Bread, buns, and tortillas. Soft and fluffy, high in fiber, and with 0 grams of sugar, up to 10 grams of protein, coming in at under 100 calories per serving. Oh, and did I mention they taste like their mouth-watering traditional versions? I mean, what's not to love? Use code AH10 for 10% off your first Hero Bread purchase at hero.co. That's AH10 for 10% off at hero.co.